Put your hands down, I'll flip you. Put your hands down.
No, I don't want you
On the
to
baby?
walk me upside down.
Sure.
Growing up, I had one ambition, which was to be a mom. As much as I would try and focus on career and job path and college, it always was important to me in my head that I was going to be a mom.
Probably when I got into high school, I really thought about if I wanted to have kids, and that's when you start exploring everything. 20s, I could have told you I might not ever wanted to have kids. You change throughout your life, and then later on in my 20s, I decided I wanted to get married when I met Melissa and have kids.
We knew we wanted children. We talked about children's names. There was always the conversation of how soon after we got married we would have children. We started trying very shortly after we were married.
We tried for about a year and a half. Slowly started looking into different things that would help fertility. My wife did most of the research, to be honest. She wanted to see if we had something going on that wasn't copacetic for having it naturally. So the first place we went to, we just kind of got some insight on what the process was. The doctor we had gone to was phenomenal. He was very inspiring, and we did 3 IUIs and 2 IVFs. The reason we decided to make a switch was because, kind of like anything else, performance is key. You know, we want results. RMA of Connecticut, we researched, and it's a bigger operation. The previous physician only had 1 doctor. RMA of Connecticut had 6 doctors. I think it gives you a different perspective behind it because you have 5 or 6 different doctors working together to get what's ultimately best for you and to get you to your end result, having babies.
When I walked into RMA of Connecticut for the first time, it was a very different experience for me. It was welcoming, it was thorough. That to me was the one takeaway immediately when I walked in, was I felt like everyone covered everything, from the woman at the front desk to the person who greeted us and walked us around and introduced us to someone in finance. It's very much a family experience, and they wanted me to meet all the people who were behind the scenes, which was comforting, as opposed to just walking in and meeting just with a doctor at the time.
And we had nothing but great things to say about all the doctors. They were all warm and friendly, and we didn't feel like it was, you know, a business.
I had been through a lot of hurt, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of disappointment. So I was very reluctant. I had my guard up absolutely when I walked in to meet with Dr. Richland for the first time. By the time I walked out of there, I felt like he had covered options that I hadn't thought about, I hadn't heard about. I had a new sense of excitement about the experience. I was hopeful. I didn't feel like I had hit a dead end. I feel like he had given me a new road, which was a wonderful feeling after so much sadness.
When you want to have kids, you expect to have kids. So when you get to the point where it's that hard and you almost get to the point of failure or giving up, it takes a lot in a relationship. So something like fertility that offers you, some hope and some extra benefit that you could potentially have kids, you kind of try to take it whenever you can.
Once I was involved with RMA of Connecticut, I utilized every resource that they possibly offered. I participated in Ladies' Night In and Fertile Yoga. I took advantage of the nutritionalist. Attending Ladies' Night In one night, I met another woman who was in a very similar place in her journey. It was one of those experiences when you meet someone and you just click immediately. It became a connection, not only inside but outside. She ultimately became my best friend, and 4 or 5 years later, she's still my best friend. We've been through so much together. We now, between the 2 of us, we have 4 children and a friendship that I can't even thank anyone for but RMA of Connecticut.
I didn't know how I would ever feel about when we first got that, yes, you're pregnant. It was kind of overwhelming. It took a little while to kick in. And then when they said 2, it was even more of like a brain number, like I didn't know what to do.
When I got a positive pregnancy test, it was an out-of-body experience. It was surreal. And when I had twins, I knew I had put 2 embryos back, but having never had a positive result, never in a million years did I think that both would have taken.
At the end of the day, it's worth all the heartache and tears and stress and fighting and crying to get to the ultimate goal of having 2 beautiful kids.
That was an amazing experience to feel like I left with a positive pregnancy, 2 babies, and a whole new family.
All I know is that RMA Connecticut worked the first time, and we couldn't be happier with them.